Welcome back to Fig and Farm at Home. I am so glad you're here, friends. You are in for a real treat. Today, I'm chatting with Deb. Deb is the first graduate of Home Design 101. And if you're new around here, Home Design 101 is a 10-week immersive program where you learn the steps in the design process so you can decorate your home and do it on your timeline with your budget when time allows. Deb came to me with this unique perspective, and I have a feeling that some of you might be feeling the same way. But she came to me knowing that she knows what she likes. She absolutely does. But her main problem was buying the things, bringing them home, and then not liking them once they got here. And Deb admittedly would say that she has spent and overspent too much money because she bought the wrong thing and she didn't know how to focus in on her design style. She didn't know really what it was or how to label that. And it just kept being an ongoing, repeating cycle, almost like a design hamster wheel, if you will. You're going to hear the breakthrough that Deb had, but let me give you a sneak peek. She is living in this beautiful home with an oasis for a backyard. We did style and design her backyard. She learned how to go through the design process there first so that she can then transfer into her home. And if you're wondering, oh, backyard, that's a couple plants here, a couple plants there. No, it wasn't. This is outdoor living, multiple area outdoor living. And Deb is now the go-to designer for her friends. They're coming over and they're saying, Deb, this is an oasis back here. How did you know what to do? How did you know how to buy that pot and how to place that thing and how to get it so that all works together? How did she know? Deb learned it in Home Design 101. During this 10-week course, we spend quite a bit of time learning what your own unique design style is. We learn that because we don't want you to be overwhelmed. We don't want you to be frustrated when you go to Home Goods and you're standing in front of the aisle of pillows and you're thinking, I don't know which one to choose because I'm pretty sure I'm going to choose the wrong one. And if that is your area of overwhelm, we definitely don't want that to happen in the paint aisle or the tile aisle when it comes to making bigger choices. When you understand your design style, you can break free from that frustration and that overwhelm that has been keeping you stuck and wasting you money. But not only that, we learned how to create a color palette that would create a cohesive palette and backdrop for the rest of your home. We learned how to create a vision board so that we could see all the products that we're selecting in one place before we purchased. We learned how to create a project map so that we knew what it was we were going to purchase and when we were going to purchase, because some things are more important than others. We learned where to shop high, where to shop low, and even where to go. We learned all of this and so much more in 10 weeks' time. And the goal of home design, of course, is to give you confidence. Of course, is to make it so that you are not frustrated. But it is a starting point for you so that you can then grow in that confidence and grow in the ability to do it yourself over the course of time. Like Deb, this is the goal, sister, is for you to grow in confidence so that you not only feel good in your space, so that you feel good in your home and you love coming home to that space, but the goal is to tell your story with your style, and you can't do that if you don't know what your style is. We are going way deeper than farmhouse, way deeper than nautical, way deeper than industrial. We are finding your unique design style, because it's in you. And your home is a canvas for storytelling. Your home is an opportunity for showcasing your story with your style. So the good news is Home Design 101 is open. It is open for registration, and class begins January 5th. It's 10 weeks, and it runs until March 9th. Now here's the thing. Registering now until Monday, you get a couple bonuses. You get 2 half-hour one-on-one coaching calls with me so that you can get one-on-one attention. Space is limited in class, but it is a class, and you will want those one-on-one calls so that you can get your specific questions answered for your specific home, so that we can tailor your questions to your space. The other bonus is my Tablescape workshop. This is a workshop designed to teach you how to style a functional and beautiful table for your holiday feasts, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. How you can create those beautiful tables that you see over on Pinterest or Instagram, how you can do that in your own home. That bonus is only good until Monday. After that, the bonus goes away and the price goes up. Space is limited. You are going to definitely want to run, not walk, to grab your spot here, because once class is full, friends, class is full until the spring session. All right, if you have any questions, you know how to reach me, and you will also find the link to register in the show notes. I can't wait to see you in class. Now, before I dive into Deb's conversation, I did want to read you the review that she left for me. And I'm reading it here in its entirety because you're going to hear that our conversation was just a little bit spotty. There was some technical issues that were happening that day, and you're going to hear that reflected in the quality of the voice. So I am going to read her review so that you know from Deb's words what she thinks about Home Design 101. Deb says, I have been listening to the Fig and Farm at Home podcast for over a year now. I think I started listening right at the beginning, and I haven't skipped an episode yet. I love home decorating, but I struggle with my aesthetic and how to make my open concept home cohesive. The episodes are so relatable and cost-conscious. Earlier this year, we completed our outdoor space, and the thought of decorating it was so overwhelming. As I was listening to one of Danny's podcasts, she mentioned her Home Design 101 class. I couldn't send an email fast enough to register. I'm so glad I did. She taught me so many tips and tricks, and she was so easy to work with. Her first grade teaching experience definitely came into play. I really needed everything spelled out ABC to figure out what my style was. Why was it so hard for me to get? The best part of the project being done now is that when family and friends visit, they call it an oasis and ask me how I knew what to buy and how to put it together. I just say that I love design. Sorry, Danny, I take all the credit. Smiley face. Danny, thank you again for all the tips and tricks that will help me with future decorating projects. I'm no professional by any means, so I'll still be listening. You've taught me that choosing a color palette helps with focus. Pinterest can be my friend. Repetition is key, and looking at the big picture is mandatory. I can't thank you enough. I'll send pictures soon. Happy decorating. All right, you heard it from Deb. Now sit back, grab a cup of tea, and enjoy our conversation. We grew up with the phrase, home is where the heart is. But our culture has shifted, and now the message is, home should be Pinterest perfect. I'm calling BS on that message. Home, it's not about the stuff, it's about the story. And whether you know it or not, your home is a reflection of you and is already saying something. So what is it that you want it to say? Hey, I'm Danny, a former first grade teacher turned home decorator. Going from a dual income to a single income so I could stay home with my babies meant budget, like ramen eating, Goodwill shopping budget. And I learned a few things along the way, like how to bring big style to your home without breaking the bank. And I'm sharing it all with you. Tips, tricks, decor, and design advice so you can learn to tell your story with your style. Where you can start living free from the Pinterest perfect trap and start living a life of intention. Welcome to Fig and Farm at Home, where we design happy living and where it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. Deb, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Nice to see you again.
It is so good to see you. I am so excited that we finally get to have a teeny tiny little reunion and check in on how your room is doing and let everyone know the progress we made over the time together. So I've already introduced you to my guests or to my listeners, and they know that you threw me for a loop in choosing a room to redo that was not inside. We chose outside, or not we, you chose outside.
Right.
Tell me why it was you wanted to start in your outdoor space and what that felt like, what the room felt like as we were, like why you reached out to me.
Well, it felt very discombobulated. I had bought a bunch of different furniture for different areas outside, and none of it was flowing. It just was not working. I just kept putting things out there. It just was not working, and it was driving me crazy because I was spending a lot of money on this large project out here, and it just wasn't working. And I was already listening to your podcast, and I think the full day, I just happened to when you were announcing the Design 101, and I think I reached out that moment. I got the last day, and I said, I need your help. Do this, and I've never looked back. I'll tell you, my neighbors, every guest that comes to my house wants my help decorating their house.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. That's so cute. I love that.
It's wonderful. It was
Oh,
very, yeah.
oh, I am so glad to hear that. And I'm just going to interject right now because my listeners are going to hear the audio that is kind of cutting in and out. But that is fantastic. So listeners, pardon the audio. We're doing the best we can in a tech issue today. But I love that. I love that your guests are coming over and saying that they love it, they've noticed a difference, and that they want your help. So have you helped anyone?
I have not, no.
No. Not
My
yet.
mother is really looking to move down here. My parents are looking to move down here, and they both want me to go shopping with them. And so
Oh,
it's my little secret, but I did say that I had some help, and it made all the difference in the world to be able to go out there and feel comfortable and know that the choices that I'm making, and I even feel with future purchase, just knowing which direction to go in,
yeah.
and really what. So the class was very, very helpful.
I am so glad you said that because if in case you just cut out, you said you feel really comfortable with future purchases. And that's the whole point of Home Design 101 is that you really can establish an understanding of what your design aesthetic is. And we spent a lot of time on that. And I remember one of my favorite times, I'm going to ask you what yours is too, but one of my favorite moments was, I saw your aesthetic straight away, Deb, as I'm walking you through, and you were gravitating and pinning these different items, and you kept saying, "Oh, I like this, but oh, I like that, but I like this, but oh, I like that," and that's what we wanted to work through. Did we do it?
We did do it. That was the one thing I had the hardest time with, is trying to figure out what my aesthetic is, because I think I felt like it was supposed to be something.
Yeah.
As opposed to really looking at everything. And you did all of the things I was pinning. You were able to see certain similarities throughout the pictures that I didn't even see myself. So that was pretty great. But yeah, it took me a long while to really see that.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Well, and I remember telling you too, and this is for anyone who is, on the fence or considering Home Design 101, is that as we walk through this process and you learn what your aesthetic is, it is very much like you learn it, but you have to keep practicing it because the more you do, the more fluent you become in it. It's like learning how to read. I used to teach first grade, would teach them how to read, and they might be able to read the bat sat on whatever. But until you become practiced with it, it's going to sound choppy. And that's just like your aesthetic, understanding what that is. It's going to be choppy until you continue doing it and practicing it. So that's awesome. So what was your favorite part of the class?
Purchasing.
Oh, and you know what? We're going to do a...
all come together. It really was my favorite part. I'm sorry, it really was.
Yeah.
But you were and your teaching background, hands down, came into play because on very many occasions, I really needed you to break it down for me.
Yeah.
I really needed to get down and dirty and ABC it for me because I just wasn't understanding really what my aesthetic was and what I did and what together. So I greatly appreciated that. But shopping still is my favorite part.
It is. Yeah. And
other Pinterest was fun too. And I think at the beginning, I got a little carried away with all of my pins and not, again, just kind of a little everywhere. So it really helped narrow.
Right. And we do spend a lot of time on that Pinterest section. But do you remember me saying, okay, these are the parameters. We are not just chasing the rabbit here and going down those holes. You have a job to do. But let's talk about the purchasing for a minute, because that was one cautionary tale I told you at the beginning was you are going to want to purchase, and we cannot do that. Give me your credit cards. Give them to your husband. Give them to Pat. Send them away. We do not want to purchase yet, because so many people do that, and then they get stuck. They get stuck with the piece of thing, the furniture, the item that they loved, they thought they needed, and now it doesn't work. And that was hard. Was it hard?
That was very hard, but I was good. I did not, even my husband wanted to buy certain things. I said no, promised I was not going to purchase anything until I got the thumbs up to start buying. And I was very well behaved when it came.
You did great.
I followed directions. I really did take the class very seriously, and at the end, we really were going through the items that I was going to purchase and putting it on. I forget the name.
The mood board.
What was it called again?
The mood board that you created.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I couldn't believe the difference that made from items that I had already purchased, and just taking a look at it all together.
Yeah.
It made all the difference in the world.
Yeah. And you gravitated towards that really well. I mean, I could tell that you liked that part because it was almost like seeing the aha moment for you, because not only was it an easy program to use, but it was also really, like you said, to put that visual into something you could see and not just something you're like, I like that chair and I like that lounge thing and I like the planter. You were able to put it together to see how it worked together. Yeah.
Right. And that was the mistake that I made at the beginning. I wasn't looking at the entire, I said, okay, I have a sitting area here. What do I need there? A dining area here. What do I need there? We have loungers here. I wasn't looking at it as a full pack, how it could look cohesive.
Right.
And I think the words that rang true are repetition, repetition, repetition,
right.
repetition.
Yeah.
And that's always, every time I buy anything now, I say, well, this do I have something in this color, this family, before I buy over here.
Yeah.
And keeping the in track.
Right.
It's just all those little pieces of information that they come with me every time I buy anything.
Oh, I am so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that.
It looks beautiful out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be okay sharing a picture of a couple pictures, and I can put it on the blog for the listeners to see? Okay. And maybe we can take a before, I'll bring up those before pictures you sent me too. Yeah. And you make a good point, because you did have that seating area, the kitchen area, the dining area, and then a couple seating areas down below by your pool. And one thing I kept mentioning to you is repetition, of course, but we want to make it so that whatever choice you're making in the big seating area, you can move that and you can mix and match in the other areas too. And that's a trick that is so much fun to do to shop the house, right? To shop any area. I mean, you can save so much money by having a cohesive layout where you're itching to go, I want something new, but you might have those pieces already. And it's just a matter of mixing the throw blanket and the pillows and the planters and the candles and all the things.
Right. No, for sure. And another thing I was doing pre our class was matchy, lots of matchy. So I've been able to mix that up, but still using the pieces, but exactly like what you said, moving them around a little bit to where they still make sense, because there's still the repetition materials from one area, another area. Now everything doesn't look so matchy, but it matches.
Yes. Oh, I like what you just said. Yep. Yeah.
And I don't know if I've said it. Another one of my favorites was having you alter my son.
Yeah, I know. We lucked out because you were the only student in class. So that allowed us to be super flexible when you were traveling with work. And I think one time that was the week or the time I hurt my back too. So we could just, I moved you all over the house. I sat up, I sat down. We could just be really flexible. But you got a lot of one-on-one attention, and I'm so thrilled for you because
I feel very lucky for that.
Yay.
I can only imagine your class very full, but you were very attentive, and it was just great. It was great.
Awesome. Do you have a project you're going to be working on inside?
As a matter of fact, we are going to be redoing our kitchen and definitely painting next.
Okay.
So I found a paint that I like, and I haven't decided if I'm going to go 2 different colors yet, but we're also meeting with the kitchen designer on next Wednesday, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
so
yay. That's exciting. Okay.
And they'll probably end up doing the kitchen with my Carolina room at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
Enlightening. Because right now we've got like a terracotta color in here, yellow, and I'm leaning towards a sea mist color.
Yes.
In somebody else's house, it's so beautiful.
Yes. And that will really be so cohesive as you go outdoors. Because the Carolina room is the sunroom, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it goes right outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I like that plan.
Yeah, that probably won't start until January. Probably around January, but we're going to meet with them next week and kind of decide what it is we want. But
okay.
Yeah.
And do you feel, taking the class, do you feel a little bit more confident as you start thinking about like what cupboard fronts you want or what metals you want on your drawer pulls and things like that?
I definitely feel better, but I will be on Pinterest and putting together the mood boards.
Yes, good.
And I won't just concentrate on that one room, which is what I've done in the past. Now I'll know to look in the living room because I have a very, as you know, an open concept house. So I do want to make sure. Now I'll know to look in the living room, in the dining room, office to make sure that everything flows.
Yes. Oh.
So yeah.
Right.
More confident, but I will still be using that program.
Yeah.
And I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, because you got the program at the end. So
yeah.
the whole goal is to walk you through, hold your hand the entire 10 weeks, to have that accountability, that weekly check-in, and then to give it to you at the end so that you can go back when you're trying to choose your color formula, which I love the sea mist. You can go back and rewatch it so that you can make good choices moving forward.
Sea mist color?
I'm picturing it in my mind, but I don't necessarily know the one that you're talking about.
It is gorgeous. It's Sherwin-Williams. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Sherwin-Williams is my favorite. They are my go-to paint company. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Well, okay. What is your biggest takeaway? I mean, you mentioned a lot of things that you learned, but what would your biggest takeaway, do you think, be from the whole course?
The fact that people think I'm and want my help.
That makes me so happy. I love that.
That's pretty great. I love it. And people come out to my backyard and this is an oasis. It's so beautiful. You know to do this. How did you know to buy these pots? Did you know what plant to put in? And how did you know this? That's always part of the conversation when we have her. So pretty special.
Oh, that's neat, Deb. You did not share that with me. That makes my heart so happy to hear that, because the whole goal of this is to empower homeowners, mamas just like you, to do it yourself. And honestly, I don't care. I don't need the credit. You did it. And so this is fantastic.
That you said to me was, like, we looked at a lot of pictures and you showed me some planters, but I knew just based on what you told me and how to make it work, I was able to buy. I didn't have to buy the things that you pointed out. I just knew what to go in after we had our call.
Yeah.
So yeah, you gave me that, which was huge.
Right.
Huge.
And you know what that is? Do you know what that is? I mean, it's confidence for sure, but it's you understanding now what your aesthetic is. So because those suggestions of like, oh, this planter would look great, you can now translate and have that ability to not necessarily pick the exact same thing, which is always an option, but then to take something and make it your own based on your aesthetic, because now you're drawn to it. So yay! I love it. Love it.
That was huge.
Yeah. Awesome. So what would you say when, if someone were to ask you, hey, Deb, I'm kind of thinking about taking Home Design 101. I don't know. Should I? It's an investment. I mean, time-wise, it's 10 weeks. There's homework. It costs a little bit of money. What would you say to that person?
I would say absolutely, positively, because the amount of money spent on items from Target, Walmart, Kirkland, whatever, all of these stores, Amazon, everything that I have purchased, and it just didn't work. Didn't know why, like that. And I would have these things that I would end up setting them up, and I would keep them there. And after a while, they're not working, and now I've got them sitting in a pile, a pile for Goodwill in my bedroom, ready to go. And the amount of money in that pile is much less than the money that I spent on the class.
Yeah.
It just everything together. Everything was just didn't work. Didn't know why, and you really helped make a cohesive plan, and everything just flows better. And now I know why, and I can do it on my own. And yeah, it was well worth the money that I spent on it. Absolutely, and I would do it again. I would have to do it again. I've learned, but I would still probably do it again.
Yeah, yeah.
It was very, very helpful.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Yay, yay. Well, you can always pop back into the class and be the motivational speaker.
Your bookshelf styling, too. That was also very helpful. All the little tidbits that you would, after each class, tidbits would go back and so everything was just great. Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
awesome. I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled to hear that. Anything else you'd like to share?
Just that you just really helped me make it work, and will help me moving forward with my other projects. Really, you were wonderful to work with. You were so patient, because there were many things that I just didn't understand and didn't get, and maybe didn't do my homework. You were just wonderful to work with. Really.
Oh,
and I appreciate everything.
awesome. Awesome. Well, I just love it. And it was so much fun to have that weekly call, and we laughed a lot. There were some yeah. Yeah, we just giggled, and my boys, because it was during the summer, and my boys would be like, "Why are you laughing all the time?" Oh, because I'm having fun. So when you can take fun to work and fun to learning, it's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, will you keep me posted on the progress you make in your kitchen?
I will absolutely do that, yes. And I'll send you pictures from outside as well.
Okay, yay, good, because my listeners I know will want to see.
You're gonna love you'll love. I haven't sent you everything yet. And my table finally came in. Yeah. My dining table.
Oh, that was a frustration. That took a long time. How long did that take?
3 months.
Yeah.
And they told me it was in store. Ordered it, which was not.
Right.
And it was no easy process.
Right. Right. But it's here, and now everyone thinks that you are the designer, which you were. You took the reins on that class. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And it really should be your favorite part. So I can't wait, honestly, Deb, for you to then help your parents when they move down, or to help the friend, and just transfer what it is you learned here to them. That's going to be...
There's so much inside the class as well that I took after our class. I've changed so many, but I'm always repetition. Does this color, like all these little words and lessons that you gave me, I take as part of my everyday move. Everything I'm moving.
Awesome.
It's very helpful.
Love it. Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Danny. It was my pleasure and a lot of fun.
Working with Deb was a true joy. Seeing her week after week and watching the hard work and the evolution take place was really very rewarding for me. But it was so wonderful to see her aha moments as the process went on. So I'm going to continue the interview just a little bit. We definitely signed off. We finished what we were going to talk about. And then she was giving me a little sneak peek at other things. And I just want you to sit back and be a fly on the wall. Enjoy. Deb, I really love that your friends are like, "Can you help me?"
I'm not kidding. It's the best.
That is so good. Oh.
Yeah, I love that. Like, how do you know? Like, how did you get that? And how'd you know that? And that looks so good together.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Oh, good. That makes my heart really happy.
Yeah. It's pretty great. I love that.
Awesome.
And just even exercising, like, I just feel like it's just easier.
Yeah.
Still need some help, but
right.
It's so much easier.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I thought, well, here, I'll quickly show you what we have out here.
Yes. Oh.
See my little, we had talked about doing like
a little tray.
A little tray.
Love it. That looks so good.
Isn't that cute?
Oh, so good.
Look at my little table. The hurricane, I ended up cracking it.
Oh.
This table here I know doesn't work, so I'm returning that.
Okay. Oh, look at that planter.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, I love it. I love, love, love that. Hey, real quick before you go, if you learned something new or found value in today's podcast, would you head over to iTunes to Fig and Farm at Home and leave a review and subscribe to the show? That would be awesome. And if you'd like to connect with my community of mamas who are learning to be intentional storytellers within their own homes, join us at bit.ly/design101 group. There's always more room at the table. See you soon.